Hey team, today I'm going to take a look at the accuracy of the various types of body composition testing methods available in New Zealand. Now I've made it my mission over the past 10 years to truly understand the body composition testing industry and give my clients access to the best available equipment. I've watched countless videos online, listened to podcasts, read over 100 journal articles and tried all sorts of body composition testing methods. At the time of filming, I've tested myself over 100 times on various bioimpedance or electrical current machines and infrared body scanners. I've personally had 12 DEXA scans myself and over 400 Fit3D body scans. I've administered over 300 Skinfold tests that's using an 8-site ISAC international qualified Skinfold method. And I've performed over 8,000 Fit3D body scans on people. What have I learned? There's over 50 ways to obtain body fat percentage. The only way to truly measure your body fat would be to cut out all the internal and external fat from your body and weigh it. You'd need to be dead for this to occur. Despite what many scientists or sports scientists would love, including myself, we wish this was not the case. However, every other method, aside from full body autopsy when someone is dead, every other method is some kind of estimate. So body composition testing is not perfect. All body fat percentage measures have some element of error. The key to successful body composition testing is knowing what the errors are on the type of machine or modality that you are testing with and being able to minimize those errors in the real world outside of a lab. Now in the real world, some of these methods are easier to minimize error than others. So this video, I'm going to look at the 4 main testing methods available in New Zealand, the pros and cons of those methods, their use outside of the lab, and also talk to you about why I've chosen to offer Skinfolds, Fit3D body scans and DEXA scans in my health testing company and not offer bioimpedance scanning. In my review, I've purposely left out MRI scanning, underwater weighing or hydrostatic weighing, bod pods, because these types of methods, look, they're never going to be readily available to the public. They require specialized expertise to administer the service. They're not that mobile and they're very expensive. So the first method I'm going to take a look at is a DEXA body scan. DEXA is said to be the gold standard for body composition testing in the world, aside from MRI or the unrealistic full body autopsy, of course. A DEXA scan works by passing low radiation X-ray beams through tissues with varying degrees of absorption and gains measurement of the bone, muscle, fat by assuming that these tissues absorb energy at different levels. Like other body composition methods, DEXA does give you an estimate of body fat, lean mass, etc. The difference is DEXA algorithms have been compared and aligned to human cadaver studies or dead body autopsies, whereas results from most other methods that we're going to review today and other methods around the world, they're being compared to DEXA itself as a reference. So studies have noted that although DEXA results can be close to that of a human cadaver, metrics don't 100% align every single time. For example, fat mass has been shown on occasion to vary up to 5 kilos when comparing DEXA algorithms to cadaver studies. Look, advantages of DEXA, it's relatively good accuracy. So the main results, body fat percentage, which most people are mainly interested in, is within 1 to 2% between scans on the same person being tested on the same day. However, this can be up to 5%. The ability to break down results into like muscle, bone, fat, and so those 3 components, and also assess those metrics in different segments of the body, like arm versus arm, or leg versus leg, or trunk, is an advantage. The ability to assess visceral fat, so it's really the only valid way to assess visceral fat out of the 4 methods that we're looking at today. And look, it's relatively non-invasive would be some of the advantages. Disadvantages, it can be very expensive. So DEXA scanners can cost north of $100,000 for the equipment and setup. They require specialized training to administer scans and interpret scans, even though that's got a little bit easier. They're difficult and time consuming to transport the machines. You can't just lift them up and put them in and out of different gyms or businesses. They're unable to test really tall people or really obese people because the bed's only like a limited size. One DEXA scan, they can take a bit longer than some of the mobile methods, so like 5 minutes for an actual scan itself versus like 30 or 40 seconds to some of the other methods. They can have a small amount of radiation, so they don't like people scanning on DEXA scans too often. And there's not like applications or computer systems that are really easy to use or give people full access online 24/7. DEXA results themselves can be slightly impacted by time of day, hydration for a woman, where you are in your menstrual cycle. So it is recommended to control some of those things before having a DEXA scan. The next method of body composition testing we're going to take a look at is Skinfolds. Now, Skinfolds, up until about 2010, were the most popular method of estimating body fat percentage in the world. Therapists would use a set of calipers, like these ones here, for example, where they take multiple pinches throughout the body, just by pinching skin. These pinches were measured in millimeters and added up to a total, and then converted into body fat percentage via one of multiple different formulas available. Obviously, the pinches are not seeing or measuring fat deeper inside the body. The millimeter pinches are actually just tracking subcutaneous fat. So a few assumptions are made, including that subcutaneous fat levels are correlated with deeper adipose tissue throughout the body, including visceral fat, that this correlation is the same for people of different ethnicities and body shapes, that subcutaneous fat is always representative of total body fat, and that fat-free mass, your bone, muscle, is relatively constant for someone with a given body size and skinfold pinch thickness. So what are the advantages of Skinfolds? Look, they're cheap, their minimal equipment is needed, they're easily portable, you can do them from home. Disadvantages: the person taking Skinfolds requires an awareness of bony anatomy and muscle anatomy. To gain any type of close to reliable results, therapists are required to complete a 3-day training course. It's an ISAC or an international Skinfold course, and they probably need to practice on at least 100 different subjects before you got any type of reliability. Now, the problem with Skinfolds, as soon as you change the person taking Skinfolds, it's essentially just a waste of time. Your results can vary by up to 20%, and that's just by changing the person taking the Skinfolds. Another disadvantage, like testing's quite invasive, like you need to be standing there in your bra and undies in front of the person taking it, always a bit awkward, especially if you've just met the person. Clients are marked with a pen and touch throughout the body. Some people might not like that, they find it a bit uncomfortable. Other disadvantages, there's like 10 plus formulas for estimating a body fat percentage and then converting results into that body fat percentage. So the millimeter amounts could all be the same, but then you type in a different formula and all of a sudden the results vary by 10 to 20%. There's another disadvantage, there's no online like websites or apps or any like quality tracking sort of online tools at the moment with Skinfolds. And as soon as you change like trainers or gyms, you just generally just lose the results. There's multiple different types of these calipers that are used. So as soon as you change calipers, again, that can be another error that can occur. So I guess what I'm saying is that there's lots of places where error can occur when you're taking Skinfolds. If you've got a really experienced person, so like I still do offer some client Skinfolds if they really want it. I definitely don't think it's like the best way we should be tracking body composition alone at the moment. I think we've got Fit 3D body scans and DEXA scans that do a much better job. They offer holistic tracking at a higher level of accuracy, and they've got all the bells and whistles with the online tracking, etc. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it on their own, but they are still an option if people need like a mobile way of tracking. The next method of body composition testing we'll take a look at is bioelectrical impedance, or BIA for short. Now there's various types of BIA scanning, however these days generally it involves the client standing on some metal pads and holding some metal hand grips for about a minute in their clothes. BIA involves running an electrical current through the body and estimating body composition through the resistance of tissues, bone, muscle, fat to the electrical current. It's based on the assumption that the electrical current flows through the body at different rates depending on the composition that it's flowing through. Now, another assumption is made is that the current that is passing through bone, muscle, fat, or through the body travels at the same speed in everyone. Or when they do give you an option to choose for ethnicity or whether you're an athlete or non-athlete, an assumption is made that currents flow through the body at the same speed in everyone from that ethnicity or from that patient group. And the equations that provide results are also assuming that the client's hydration status and water levels and menstrual cycle are the same each time. And this is where it all goes wrong with BAA. From here, body fat percentage, fat mass, bone mass, muscle measurements, for example, waist circumference, are all estimated via various algorithms. Each bioimpedance brand will have their own algorithms, some more prone to error than others. Water levels, hydration in one's body can have a large effect on results. So what are the advantages of BAA? Look, generally they're quite quick to perform. Clients can stay in their clothes, which is nice. You can kind of put them wherever in the gym. You don't have to be in a private room. They're generally portable and don't take too long to set up. Results usually available like on a printout, so you can take something home with you. Most recent 5 results can be reviewed on a printout over time, or sometimes there's some online options. So what are the disadvantages of BAA? Well, most bioelectrical impedance scanners, they're not safe for those who have a pacemaker or are pregnant. The electrical currents may cause risk, so unfortunately if someone doesn't know they're pregnant, that could be a risk. Although you can get reasonable accurate results on like test retest on the same day for a client, like a couple of minutes apart, results can be too easily manipulated when trying to track progress over time. So what I mean by that is simply like changing your hydration status or eating or not eating prior to your scan, exercising or not eating prior to your scan could all vary results significantly. These manipulations, if not controlled thoroughly, can significantly affect all the main results like body fat percentage, visceral fat, if you're scanning the same person over time. For example, when I've tested myself on various BAA scanners, this could be easily manipulated up to 15%, and that's day to day, and commonly day to day looking at like a 5% difference in just the body fat percentage metric alone. BAA openly, like companies openly suggest like females do not scan themselves when they're menstruating. So again, with females, you're kind of losing like 1/5 of every month where they won't be able to use the scanner. In studies where they have shown like good accuracy, what these studies have done is people are scanning like first thing in the morning. They've heavily controlled hydration levels, sleep, exercise. They've controlled the phase of when the women are having their scan or that stage in their cycle. So they've heavily controlled everyone now, which is difficult to do in the real world. Like in the real world, you can't scan everyone first thing in the morning. You can't fully control their sleep. Trying to control like hydration status and what people eat, drink, when they eat and drink is very difficult throughout the day. And if you've got like hundreds of clients to scan, you can't obviously scan them all first thing in the morning. There's just not that many days in the year. If you're competing in like gym challenges or going to workplaces, or people are just getting scans when they're kind of going into different places, obviously you're going to get variable results because you're testing people at different stages in their cycle and different times of the day. So it can vary results quite a lot. BAA, unfortunately, all measures, including like girth measurements and visceral fat, are gained through the currents that are traveling through the body. So what I've never quite come to grips with is why should your waist or chest circumference or visceral fat change just because you are under or overhydrated that day, or just because you did carbo loading or you didn't leading up to your scan. Other disadvantages, like pretty obvious, you can't get like 3D images of yourself. You can't get a posture report. You won't be able to do like overlay like some the infrared scanning machines, and even DEXA, they've got those like visual images of which people relate really well to. So you can't get that with the BIA machines because it's not taking any images. Most BIA brands these days will allow you to like print out reports, which is great. However, printing the reports, it requires paper. Some of them require you buy special paper for that particular brand. You've got to change print cartridges and worry about general waste on the environment. Results, generally, you can't track it over a lifetime on a bit of paper. It might just show 4 or 5 results, and generally clients might lose that bit of paper within a couple of days. Some brands, which is good, they do offer apps or some online tracking of results. However, most companies aren't 100% cloud-based, or I haven't ever seen a company that's 100% cloud-based. So as soon as your client changes gyms or trainers, or you upgrade your BIA machine, which they tend to change every few months in terms of their technology, then you just lose all your results. So your client really can't get that longevity of care over time. So that's mainly BIA for you. Look, 5 years ago, when I had the opportunity to invest in different technology for tracking body composition, I definitely considered BIA, and some of the companies were really very convincing around selling me a machine, but they bluntly just didn't seem reliable enough. Body composition testing can be quite emotional. Look, clients make health decisions based on their results, and unfortunately I've seen with BIA, like Skinfolds as well, you can get many frustrated clients coming in. I've heard reports of people losing clients just because their results they weren't going in the right direction. Even the client comes in and they've said, my clothes fit a lot better, I'm fitter, I'm stronger, I'm sticking to everything you're doing, but my body fat's been going up by 5%, 10%, and people can lose clients based on that, or it can have quite an effect on the client's emotions. So, the client may have been doing really well, but unfortunately the person administering the BIA scan just might not have been able to control the measurement error easily enough. I occasionally get asked, given what we know about the errors with bioelectrical impedance, how can you actually manipulate your results? Well, if you look through the research combined with some of the trials that we've done or in-house experiments we've done with ourselves, the following patterns is what we see. So pretty much if you want to significantly increase your body fat percentage and decrease your skeletal muscle mass or lean mass, pretty much you need to dehydrate yourself prior to your scan. In the 2 to 3 days prior to the scan, if you minimize the amount of carbohydrates that you're consuming, e.g. you're trying to deplete carbs, and have your BIA test about 2 hours after waking up, so have it in the morning, but don't eat anything on the day of your scan. If you want to do the opposite, if you want to decrease your body fat percentage and increase your skeletal muscle mass or lean mass, what you could try is you'd increase the amount of carbohydrates and sodium that you're eating or drinking for 2 to 3 days prior to your scan. You'd eat before your scan, on the day of your scan. Have your scan in the evening, not in the morning. And when you are eating, you might eat sort of 1 to 3 hours before the scan. And also drink more water and electrolytes. So look, I added this into this information about body composition testing, not because I'm trying to help people manipulate their BIA scans, but more to help trainers and gyms just understand that it's easy to manipulate results with BIA. And look, gyms and trainers, it's recommended that you take these areas into consideration when finding challenge winners or giving out prizes, etc. And also just you need to educate clients, especially clients that become really despondent when they receive their BIA results. The final body composition testing method we'll take a look at is Fit3D body scanning. Fit3D scanning is quick, it's low risk, mobile, you can take the machines anywhere. Clients basically stand in a private room, so the administrator does not have to be in the room. Whilst the Fit3D body scanner takes over 1,200 photos using 3 infrared cameras, and within minutes the client and the administrator will be able to gain full access to results privately online or via the Fit3D app. Unlike Skinfolds and BIA, Fit3D uses volume-based metrics in their body fat percentage algorithm. through a formal partnership with DEXA in the USA. Fit3D have completed hundreds of Fit3D body scans at the same locations and times as DEXA body scans, and from there Fit3D's been able to create an algorithm that really closely resembles DEXA. So what are some of the advantages of Fit3D? Well, unlike BIA and DEXA, Fit3D is safe for those that are pregnant, for those that have artificial limbs and pacemakers, which is awesome. It can decrease your health and safety risk within your business and also save you time screening clients for those kind of things. It's portable. You can easily set the machine up at various locations within about 5 minutes. Results are not formed by bioelectrical impedance. So an advantage of that is water levels, hydration status, menstrual status, the time of the day when you eat, drink will have less of an effect on your actual overall results, which is awesome in the real world outside of a lab where you're going to want to test people all throughout the day. I mean, you can't test everyone first thing in the morning. Fit3D has an awesome partnership with DEXA, and they keep collaborating with DEXA, which I think is a real positive. Just ongoing research, trying to get the results as close to possible as DEXA. For accuracy, Fit3D, in terms of like infrared scanning, Fit3D use 3, not 1 infrared camera. They make clients stand holding handles in a fixed position, and the clients stand at a fixed length away from the vert cameras each time. Now, all that's absolutely essential so people can gain a crisp, accurate 3D image of themselves, because Fit3D uses volume-based metrics in their algorithms. So if you can't get people to stand still, there is no way you can get accurate results. I am aware of some knockoff machines that use 1 infrared camera. They say hold your arms out to the side, and if the handles aren't fixed, your arms just move the whole time, and there's no way you can get an accurate scan. That same sort of knockoff brand, I mean, they get people to stand at random lengths away from the cameras, which we know is not accurate. So other benefits of Fit3D, look, I've used it a lot. I've done over 8,000 scans and 400 on myself. So we've picked up on some other benefits. One thing I do like is the holistic nature of results. So some people just don't get numbers alone on a bit of paper. The 3D images I think are awesome for motivation and accountability. Being able to put images on top of each other is really good for positive reinforcement for clients. Being able to visualize graphs over time, and of course there is the numbers if need be. Scans really quick, only takes 35 seconds, and clients can even self-scan. So how good is this? If you've had 2 or 3 scans and you want to offer unlimited scans, clients can just scan themselves, and because data is all automated, automatically sent to the email, and they can view the results either online on the cloud straight away. You don't have to worry about messing around with printers and cartridges and etc. Clients also get a full posture report, which I think, again, is another plus. People just don't get it when you tell them they've got poor posture. And in the physio clinic, I'll often put people on the scanner just to prove a point and say, look, this is your posture, these are the metrics, now let's do A, B, and C. And people tend to buy into the rehab or prehab process a lot more. What I also like is that every result is tracked, so it all gets plotted on a line graph every time you scan, not just 5 or 6 on a bit of paper that people lose. I've got about 400 of my own results, and it just keeps plotting, and I think it's really awesome. It gives the client that sort of security around that you're going to be tracking them for a long time. It's not just sort of a fad that's here for 1 or 2 years. I think the color-coded graphs on Fit3D are underestimated, so they're cool for a couple of reasons. One, for the client, like essentially it says green is less health risk, red is more, orange is in between, and for every main metric, for example body fat percentage, it'll show you where you are on this distribution graph. For example, myself, men compared to myself all around the world, so, or men of my age I should say, which I think's awesome, because then I know where am I at and where do I need to be in a healthy zone. It's also good in terms of machine owners if they're wanting to sell their exercise or nutrition programs. It's a nice sales tool to get people to buy into that process. Another benefit is Fit3D is the most popular 3D body scanner in the whole world, so it just gives you some assurance that your results are going to be meaningful in years to come. Results also, they're stored on the cloud, so instead of just being on like that individual machine that if you had to upgrade it, like some of the BIA machines, if you upgrade it you lose all the results. The advantage of Fit3D, if the client changes cities or moves countries even, all your results are going to be comparable over a lifetime. One other benefit would just be that there's a whole lot of extra things you can track, like the volume of one leg versus the volume of the other, the same with the arms, trunk volume, and again, it just seems a bit more holistic that Fit3D offers. Similar to DEXA, can offer quite a range of various metrics. So what are the disadvantages of Fit3D or infrared body scanning? Like the other methods, there's all pros and cons to all methods. Some of the disadvantages with Fit3D, you have to ensure that the client's in their underwear each time, or that they're wearing minimal clothing, and that they stand still throughout that whole 35-second scan. Those kind of things can be easily controlled by getting the client to practice the scan position and giving them pre-test instructions around wearing that minimal clothing each time. So what's the summary of the research we've done looking into the different body composition modalities offered in New Zealand? So we've looked at DEXA, bioelectrical impedance, Skinfolds, and Fit3D or infrared scanning. 3 out of those 4 that we currently offer at Health and Fitness Testing New Zealand. DEXA, we like it. It just takes a bit longer, requires specialised expertise, and there is a slight level of radiation each time people scan. Skinfolds, I think they're dying out really. As soon as you change the person taking the Skinfolds, results become terribly unreliable, and there's a lot of assumptions being made regarding the relationship between subcutaneous fat and fat deeper down in the body. Bioelectrical impedance, just bluntly, it can be controlled when you're in a lab, but as soon as you get out in the real world, there's just too many errors, so we've chosen not to use it at Health and Fitness Testing New Zealand. Fit3D body scanning, I really like it. I think it's quick, it's non-invasive, it's easy. It's been very reliable in the 8,000 scans I've administered to date. However, when you start comparing all the different body composition methods around the world, you can't compare like one scan to the next. What we have found, there's about a 10% difference between a Fit3D scan and a bioelectrical impedance scan and Skinfolds. Usually the Fit3D and the DEXA scans being quite close to each other and usually being higher than what you'll see on Skinfolds and on bioelectrical impedance. So the message is compare apples with apples and make sure you've got to know the errors that can occur with the type of modality you're scanning with and control those as much as you can. Anyway, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, peter@healthandfitnesstesting.nz.